What up, all my outliers? This is your boy B, and I'm right back. Combat you cats with another video. What up, man? How y'all doing today? Hope all is fine. It's Wednesday, hump day. These days and these weeks are going by so fast, my people. So fast. So, again, I hope all them arrows pointing in the correct direction. I hope that you can look back on yesterday and say, you know what? I did something that brought me closer to my dreams and my ultimate wants. That's all I got for y'all talking about that, y'all. But the brother woke up feeling very, 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 very good. I got a long day ahead of me, man. A long day ahead of me. I tell y'all about that. And I also speak a little bit more about some of this gain of function research that I've been looking at, man. And I'm just going to give you a sneak preview. I got to apologize. I have to apologize to Rand Paul, y'all. I gotta apologize to Rand Paul. I was only looking at him in one direction, but I did some research, and it most definitely changed the way I think about him, my people. But first, we're gonna get into last night, man. Last night felt good. Brother got a real good night of sleep. Got off of work. I ate, went to sleep, man. Was knocked out. Woke up very, very, very early this morning. Did a lot of thinking. Took my shiz hour. Got ready for work, and here we go, people. Here we go. For today, I got to do a lot of administrative work, and it pertains to my health. I'm just going to go and get Liberty or one of those medical insurance places where they give you all your supplies and they send them to your house. Because personally, man, for a guy like me, all this running around doing the paperwork, calling this doctor, calling the pharmacy, just to have all my insulin and all my supplies delivered correctly, that ain't for me, man. I need one of these supply companies that usually do it. I know Liberty is one of them. I think Alliance is another one where what they'll do is make sure that all my paperwork is good, and they'll keep sending every month or every 3 months everything I need, from the testing strips to the pods to the pads. I even heard that they do insulin too. So I'm gonna call one of them places, see if we can handle that, because this is ridiculous now. I've been going a week, really, trying to use a finger prick to check my blood sugar. And also, the pods keep falling off, man. It's the craziest thing, but it is what it is. And we're gonna make sure we do that today. So I gotta call up all these companies, do a little research on it, see which one would best fit me, which ones work with my insurance. And that's what we're gonna do today. That's some of the administrative work that we're gonna do today, man. You know, work has been cool. Not much going on with work out there. You know, same old, same old. Uh, I know they're trying to hit us at certain angles, but it's cool. It's cool. Ain't no beef with that, man. Ain't no beef with that. Now, let's get into the main topic of conversation today, man. The main topic of conversation, and that is this gain of function research, y'all. This gain of function research. Now, I'll tell you guys initially what made this stuff really come into my mind. So, back during COVID time, I was doing videos, man, and I really was starting to focus on political things. So, I did a couple political videos from way back in the day. I went into NYC's police budget, showed y'all exactly where those cuts were coming from. And that is an old video that you guys can go back and check out, see what I was talking about with that. So I was an advocate that from the beginning that COVID was natural, that there was no such thing as a pandemic. But I don't know if a lot of you guys remember some of the talk that was going on during that time and some of the things that people were saying. Some people were saying that COVID was started by 5G, saying stuff like that. They were saying that it was created in order to slow down the economy and kill everybody. So, looking at it from that standpoint, I was like, this doesn't sound right. This does not sound right. So, I used to do a lot of study on, exactly what COVID was because that was a novel idea to me. And I just started studying like viruses and things like that. How do they get infected? Like, how do people get infected? Things like that. But as things died down, I did get into different topics. But now I see that these things are popping up again, y'all. And we have Dr. Fauci pleading the fifth. And my initial thoughts was to really, really, really side with someone like a Dr. Fauci, which I still feel like he did a great job during the pandemic. He was put in a situation where he was the face of science. I don't agree with one person being the face of science. That was definitely a wrong move right there. Second thing, I felt like he had so much pressure on him where there was nothing right that he could do. And I looked at his career or the hard work he put in, and I was seeing how people demonized him. And at work, I was going through something very, very, very similar, where I'm one of the hardest workers in the company, but someone with a narrative can try to paint it as if I'm incompetent. So when people were speaking like that with Dr. Fauci, I definitely understood where he was coming from. So my initial ideas was to just, okay, I'm going to follow the science. And I looked at both theories of the disease being created in a lab and also it escaping from a lab, which are two separate things. You can have a naturally occurring virus that accidentally escapes from a lab and infects people. And this is what Senator Ron Paul agrees happened. He doesn't agree that the disease was somehow edited in the lab and then, push off on the people, and that's how we got infected. So we got my boy Dave from yesterday. What up, Dave? Straight from Britain. Said, "What's up? How are you doing?" I'm good, my brother. I'm good. How are you doing this morning? We're getting deep into that gain of function stuff that I was speaking about yesterday. So yeah, so uh, it's I look deep into it again. I look deep into it, and I have a clearer understanding of the picture. And like I said earlier, I must apologize to Senator Rand Paul. I really must apologize. I went back into this brother's history and I found out that him and his father already was looking at oversight for federally funded programs. Now let me break down what happened in Wuhan and why this is really a topic that he is pressing. And he has 100% right to do this. The way he asks the questions, the way he cuts off, and how rude he is kind of turns me off. But stripping that emotion away, I can understand exactly where Rand Paul is coming from. So we're going to discuss what happened over there. We're going to discuss definitions. And we also going to discuss the moral implications of these things. So we got my boy Dave Pickle said, good, thank you. I'm happy that you're doing good, Dave, and definitely happy that you came back. We got my boy Big Mont on the check-in, unstructured thoughts. He said, I would have pleaded the fifth too if somebody tried to blame me for COVID. Facts, 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 Big Mont. Facts. And you touching up on a topic where I think people get it really, really, really mixed up, you know? So, all right, the gain of function stuff. So what happened is this, man. The USA has like federally, I can't even say that word, funds set up, all right? And these funds are set up to research like viruses and stuff like that and see what's going on. So this is the World Health. Damn, I'm the WH. Damn, I'm messing up the acronyms, but it's us, man. It's us. That's all you need to know. So they fund another company called EcoHealth. EcoHealth, and these people, with their job to do, is to give out this money that we have set up for some of this medical research, and they deviate some of this money to uh, a lab out there in Wuhan, out there in Wuhan. So they gave a lot of this money. I think it was like 600,000 to fund some research in this lab out there in Wuhan. Now, here is the major definition of what the issue is. This is a major breakdown of the definition. Now, Senator Rand Paul, he uses the scientific definition that anytime you get a virus and you edit it and play with it in the lab, and it leads to a gain of function, or it don't even have to lead to a gain of function. Anytime you playing around with viruses and you're adding things to it where it develops new traits, that's a gain of function. That's gain of function research. That's gain of function research. So you got to look at all his questions through that lens. So when he asks Dr. Fauci, have you ever funded gain of function research under that definition? What was happening in that Wuhan lab was technically gain of function research. Now, Dr. Fauci uses a more narrowly defined definition. And that definition says this: you can play with these viruses that naturally appear in nature. However, if that virus in nature isn't known to affect humans, then it's not gain of function research. So that's the big difference right there. The big difference right there. Do you agree with Rand Paul that anytime you playing with a virus and adding stuff or editing it where it's can infect humans more, is that gain of function? Or are you listening to Dr. Fauci that says, or the federally, this is more like policy, this is more like administrative definition, saying that if that virus isn't known to affect humans, so the bad viruses that they was collecting in nature, those didn't directly lead to viruses that, or those weren't viruses that can infect humans. So taking that definition, it was not gain of function research. So my boy Dave Pickle said he got to go by now. See you and don't give up. Thanks, my brother. Thanks. I'll check you later, Dave. Yeah. So Dr. Fauci is saying that nah, man, this is not gain of function research. But what actually happened in that lab is that they had humanized rats, and they crossed the DNA. And what happened was a virus. They accidentally created a virus in which uh, became 10 times more likely to be spread by humans than the coronaviruses that we know which infect humans. Now, this should have pushed a red flag because technically, a gain of function did happen. And when that happens, you're supposed to report that to the NIH. But EcoHealth, the company that uh, the NIH gave the money to, they didn't really have any oversight or any ways to test what was actually going on in that lab. And they found out that paperwork was missing for 2 years, that they filed the paperwork late showing that these studies were happening. And what happened was once they figured out that this stuff was going on, they cut funding to that lab, which I think is definitely the right thing to do. So we got my boy Daniel. What up, Daniel? How you feeling? He said, what's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. What's going on, Daniel? I think I got shadow banned, man. I think too, that week that I spent off, it really messed up the YouTube algorithm. Maybe somebody even reported me, man, because I have been going on to people's pages asking them about COVID and things like that. So maybe they banned me. But it is what it is. We're gonna keep doing what we do. We're gonna build it back up organically. We're gonna build the people up organically again. You know. So that's basically what happened. They didn't document the paperwork, and it was late where they sent it in, and they wound up losing the funding. So looking at this from Senator Rand Paul's perspective, where I told you before, even prior to COVID happening, him and his pops was on a crusade. I wouldn't even say a crusade, but I mean, technically, if we do have a federal fund set up, you want to know if the funds are going to the correct place, if they're setting up the correct ways of monitoring things, if the money that's being used is actually being used to benefit the people. And this has always been one of his career pushes. So I took him wrong, y'all. I took him wrong. I do think that he actually cares about this. Again, I don't like the way he asks questions and cut people off, but at the same time, he has a right to ask these questions. And I think as Americans, we have a right to know where our tax dollars are going and what we're paying for and what that research actually is. Now, I could definitely understand the other side of the discussion. Of course, money makes things move. And at the same time, you do kind of want to be proactive. If, and we do know there are viruses that are transferable to humans, and we do want to kind of have some research that happens where we can detect things that may happen in the future. And based off of the information that we get now, it will help us fight some of these things that happen in the future. But if we're engaging in that type of risky research, then oversight must be very, very, very strong. And we got to make sure that all protocols are being met and that we are actually using best practices. And Senator Rand Paul, he wants to ensure things like that. And again, I don't blame him for that. I do not blame him for that, you know? So just a nuanced look at the whole situation. This is a situation where I don't believe that anyone is incorrect when Senator Rand Paul asks Dr. Fauci if he funded gain of function research. It depends on which definition you use. If you're using Rand Paul's definition, then yes, he funded gain of function research. If you're using the administrative slash corporate view of what gain of function research is, then he didn't. And that's the question that uh, Dr. Fauci is asking, is answering. So I think they both are talking beyond each other. I think they both definitely know what they're doing. And I ultimately believe that this is more of an argument about how do you your morals, how do you feel about science. I think that that's more of where this debate really rests. It rests on how do you feel about okay, we're in a situation where people are dying. We don't have all the information. Do we play it safe and tell people this, or do we wait for all the research to come in, which could possibly take years and just not do anything or not play it safe and regret some of the things that happen, that may happen. So in my mind, I definitely feel like this is how do you look at the world. I don't think that anyone is correct. I don't think that anyone is incorrect in this thing. Me, for my personality, I'm more of a safety first type person. So I may side with what Dr. Fauci did. But if you are more of a data driven person where you want certain things to say certain things, and I understand that. However, when lives are on the line, sometimes you have to go, and this is just my personal feeling. Sometimes you just got to go with what you know. You can't use unknowns to make decisions. You may be wrong on things, but if you play it safe, you're wrong and you save lives. You understand? You're wrong and you save lives. So I'm more, you know, it's like I said, it all depends on how you feel about life, man, and how you view life, y'all. What you feel about life, how you view life, and what's your stance on it. Now, trying to make people criminals, and I think Rand Paul said that he doesn't want Dr. Fauci to go to jail. He don't want Dr. Fauci to go to jail. He just want answers, and I definitely can understand that. I think like YouTube comment creators is what really, really, really messes it up because they take a person like Senator Rand Paul and they'll put him in their ultimate conspiracy theory where they say, okay, Trump's economy was doing so great and the government used the pandemic to bring down the the economy, or they'll say stuff like the rich people wanted to bring down the population, so they created the pandemic, and they're using Rand Paul, who suggests that this may have leaked from a lab to fit that narrative that they're trying to create. For me, that's whack, man. That's definitely whack, and now, I believe that that's stuff that humans do to form to form stories. And in America, that's definitely what drew us, is stories, yo. Stories. And a lot of people are using it just to big up their YouTube page. Just to big up their YouTube page, y'all. And it's resulting in sensationalism, people with incorrect information. It calls for people now to make death threats on Dr. Fauci, calling him a criminal, saying that he took all of these people's lives. That could be that's the furthest from the truth, man. These are just two people who see the world through their lens, and both of them are looking for accountability. And when you break it down, the only real difference that they have is the definition of what gain of function research is. Both of them agree that it wasn't created in a lab. Both of them agree on that. Only thing is, Rand Paul say it may have been a mistake and escaped from a lab after they was working on it. But that's all I got, man. I love y'all. We up out of here. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. This is your boy, the Outlier B.